Hi, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Vision Within. We are your hosts. I'm Lori.
Loretta.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Katrina.
And we are really excited to continue kind of our role, and this time going through relationships. We're going to talk about the relationship of time, our relationship with time, and how we embrace it or don't. We're just talking about, look at our choice of words as we're looking at words, frequency, relationship. You know, we're killing time, we're wasting time, we're spending time.
Yeah.
I saw an amazing T-shirt. I almost bought it. And it said, "I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't really want to come." And
great.
I've actually spent time thinking about that because I thought, wow, how true is that?
Yeah.
How true is that? When it's like a kid who's out playing and they don't want to come in. So
Right.
they're late coming in at home.
Mm-hmm.
We in my generation, we could stay out until the lights came on in the yard.
Sure.
Then you had to be in.
Right.
And so you knew if they popped up, you had so much time to get home. Right? And so anyway.
Well, listening to you, I'm going to ask you this because I'm asking myself and I can't come up with an answer.
Okay.
Is there anything positive we say about time? I mean, spend time, waste time.
I've just noticed that as Mark and I are communicating with each other, the more that we are doing what we love, I hear him say, and I've heard myself say, we have all the time in the world. Somebody will say, "Oh, you probably don't have time to listen to me right now." And I'm like, no, we have all the time in the world. Now, granted, we were just on vacation. We had nowhere else to be except on vacation. But I found that I got more done with book outlining, program outlining, class outlining than the last year, because I had all the time in the world to get it done.
Oh, wow.
So it just really is making me look at where I'm putting.
So you were more efficient and more expedient.
Far more efficient.
And you got it done more quickly.
Oh, I mean, I outlined half a book in an hour.
So did you start to love time, and rather than we always talk about letting go, let go. Once we let go of all the negative stuff, then we can start loving and bringing in the positive stuff, right? So you were bringing in.
So I think at least how I'm feeling it is, I just feel like all of the aspects of me are coming together. In the more that I've been on a journey of DNA, right? So I just found a birth mother after 56 years. And the more that we embrace living our life with what we came from and every aspect of ourselves, we're actually, let me see if I'm answering your question. I was in a place of loving life and loving everything that had happened to me to that point to get me where I was in that moment. And so I was able to utilize all of that knowledge and of experience to pour into books, because the power of being present and the power of now is so big when you experience it, that you have so much time. Like I thought I was down at the beach for 4 hours as much as I had gotten done, and I think I was there an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's amazing how time slows. For me, time will slow down when there's something that I need to pay attention to. When I've been able to recognize that when time slows down for me, that's the big pay attention kind of light on the dashboard, so to speak. And so I do pay attention, and I typically get some really awesome learning from that. But time for me is it's still pretty linear, and at least in this life. And for me, it's a blessing because it's a benchmark. It's a benchmark of what I've learned and how far I've come. And when I sit in the now and I'm really joyous and I'm really happy, I find that, you can get more done. And I think part of it's vacation mentality too, because that's the cool part about vacation is that you're like, woohoo, I'm on vacation. I don't have anything to do but be on vacation. But it's still power of being present. And when you are in a place that you love, and it's easy to go there, I think.
Do you feel like that's it's the detachment too?
I feel like it's the detachment
from the outcome.
Have to.
Right, detaching from the outcome. Because when you said the linear time, as I'm studying Brian Weiss before my class, it's when they do a regression, when you regress far enough back, you are in the future. You're in a progression. So there was a system in neuro-linguistic programming called timeline therapy, but what they've broken the rules of that, because when you regress far enough, you're in the future and you're progressing around. And we all know that we can just where our thoughts are going, we can step from future to past. We can be 5-year-old here, we can be an 80-year-old here, we can immediately we're all of them together. And so I really think the more that we practice the art of detaching from the outcome, that time becomes our friend. And we, it's like, look, I'm just noticing myself where I have been ahead of time for so long that the more that I practice being present lately, I can see where I have drains in my time, where it's leaks. And I know that time is a far more valuable asset than money. Because if I have time, I can make an infinite amount of money. Look at Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
How many relationships could he build and how much could he learn because the day kept going over? So I am really, really so laser focused right now at where any leaks are happening in my time.
That's interesting. I want to write that down.
Because that is our most valuable resource. And I think I've gotten involved in a non-for-profit called Charity Water. And, we just look at how they have pictures of these kids, drinking muddy water, and how, we just, if all of us focused on one charity at a time, my God, what would we accomplish? I mean, that's crazy. But I was looking at muddy water. And I thought, how have we muddied our water with thoughts and ridiculousness, where if we just all would have focused just on water, and we cleaned it, be instantly cleaned. If we focus on time, we break through all barriers. It's almost like a collective consciousness of focus.
If we focus on time.
Are you talking about focusing on time so that, we get the abundance of time? Or are you talking about, going through our schedule and getting rid of the time, the leaks and stuff?
Getting rid of honoring
instead of saying, I'm running out of time.
That's right.
Or, I'm going to be late.
Right.
Yeah.
And what happens, it's the same as with money.
Yeah.
It's the same.
I see, yeah.
It's
the messaging that you're giving to the universe.
That's right.
Because then it becomes true.
Right. Right.
That's true. I've got plenty of time.
And that plays into your understanding of kind of the workings of your reality, which is you have control over all of it. So if we're mindful of our words.
Yeah. And I was just thinking through, you were on vacation and you chose a high frequency.
Yes.
Which gave you automatically, without having to fake it, the high feelings, the high thoughts, the high words, and the high actions. And high and low, there's in this realm, that's all we have to talk about. But it's the, and positive and negative. I wish we had better words, but it's the higher we get on the spectrum, getting toward joy, peace, harmony, love, which we feel on vacation or in a new relationship or whatever. Then what I've noticed is time falls away. And I have said to myself, what just happened? I have all the time I need. All the time I need. And when I said to Caitlin and Connor when they were in high school, I said, what would you do if you had all the time you need? And what would you do if you had all the money you need? Now, money and time control us so much in this realm, and I agree with you. I feel time controls us more because, like Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray in the Groundhog Day movie, he could keep reinventing himself, and he decided to choose a higher frequency at the end of the movie. Rather than the low frequency, because what did he committed suicide a million different ways to try to get out of the loop. Eventually, he chose a higher frequency and created this beautiful life. So I guess what I'm saying is, he didn't care about time. He let time fall away. At the end of the movie. He said, "I'm just going to go through this loop, whatever it is, like a time loop. I'm going to let it fall away, and I'm going to choose a high frequency." The only way he could let time fall away, where time did not become a factor, where he wasn't spending it, he wasn't wasting it, he wasn't killing it, was to choose a very high frequency of joy, love, creativity.
He was experiencing it.
And then time was, it evaporated.
That's it. And that's where I believe that I'm getting so much forward momentum right now, is because I think in every day, and maybe just because I was retraining in Reiki again, and it goes back to their precepts just for today. I will not be angry. I will not worry. Be grateful. Devote yourself to your life's purpose. Be kind to all living things. And so every day, it's like, am I truly devoting myself to where I want to be? And I'm getting selfish with my time because I want to really embrace it now. It isn't my enemy. It's like I want to embrace it.
And I just would mention, since we've talked about in the previous segments, communication with words and everything, and we've gone down rabbit holes on all of that. You and I, Laurie, especially, you said. What I learned in my coaching training and other things I've read and reviewed is that, when you think about when you Google search, the computer doesn't see not or no. Like, I am not angry. They're going to pick up on the word angry. So we are telling the universe that we are angry. It doesn't pick up not. So I've been very aware of myself on how I express my loving command in the now. It's not. Intentions, praying, and hope to me is the future. But lovingly commanding now. I am joyous now. If I say I am not angry, that tells me I'm angry now.
Sure.
So I forgot what our title was of this segment.
Our relationship with time.
Our relationship with time. So in the now, I want to lovingly command, like a genie in a bottle, or a Merlin the magician, I am joyous now. I have all the time I need, or I have all the time in the world, rather than I'm not going to worry about time anymore. Well, the computer brain is picking up worry.
Look at time. I just thought, when you spell it, I and me.
I am me?
Oh my I
goddess.
and me.
There you go. Well, there's
I and me.
Something I hadn't thought about before.
And when we embrace we, there is no time.
Oh my goddess.
I saw that. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
What are we going to call it next? Weem. Yeah, I don't know. So here, what's your relationship with time?
Just noticing it, I think, and being appreciative of, like I said, when it slows down, and that's when I'm noticing I'm getting something important to take note of, or being grateful looking back, whether it's over the day, whether it's over a year, whether it's over 10 years, and being grateful for what I've learned and what has contributed, the things in that progression that have happened that have contributed to who I am and where I am in my life. And so for me, time overwhelmingly is about recognition and gratitude of where I am.
How do you all feel about when someone's late? I used to be late all the time. I hate to admit this. And my ex-husband used to say, early is, let's see, how do you say that? On time is 5 minutes early. Late is on time, and late is late, 1 minute late or whatever. But I used to try to get too many things done before I'd get somewhere, and I wouldn't. I don't know what all my. I do know. I'm discovering them. There were a lot of emotional issues attached to running a couple minutes late. After I let go, and starting to let go of all my lawyering and lobbying the last few years, I noticed I was early, and I'm early now, and it's like a whole different thing. You started out by saying, sorry, the t-shirt said, sorry, I'm late, but I didn't really want to be here. I didn't really want to come. I remember, and this is the opposite side of it, not worrying about if people were late or not getting frustrated about people were late. I remember I was at the City County Council building, it's probably been 6 years now, maybe 5 years. And I was waiting for my clients, and we were going to meet with some City County Council people. And they were late. And I was so grateful because I was early. So by the time they came, it was a half an hour later, because they were late. And I remember sitting on the bench, before you went through the monitor things, the x-ray things or whatever. And I was just sitting there enjoying the time, the abundance of time, the extra time I seemed to create for myself as I was waiting for my clients. So as we wait in the doctor's office or wait on our partners, I'm taking that time now and just sitting back and enjoying it.
There's the acronym in the mindfulness-based stress reduction program that I just finished, and it's stop, open, and receive. So it's like when we have the awareness that either we're rushing, we're striving, we're trying, any of those things, you just take a breath, you stop, and just open to all of, we take in hundreds of thousands of bits per second into our receptors. And we don't receive everything that is in the moment. And we're being given so many signs. We send each other pictures all the time. Look at this license plate. How's that for a sign? Or look at this billboard, and look at this color. Here's the sign. But it's, stop, open, and receive. And so it really is when we are aware. As soon as we have the awareness, because this is really practice, we're practicing being human. We're practicing life. And we're in life 2.0 now. We've had a big upgrade. We continue to get upgrades every night when we go to bed, and now we're practicing this new level. And it when we just stop time and we open to either the silence of it or just everything that we're receiving in that moment, we're being showered with an abundance of incredible stuff.
And Loretta, I feel like you're the busiest of the four of us right now because you have your mom's still alive, you've got grandchildren, your two daughters, a full-time job,
travel,
you travel
for work, yeah.
internationally.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you handling it? You've got a lot of challenges.
Actually, I'm not handling it very well, so I'm really happy that we're talking about this topic because it's obviously meant for me. But no, I mean, I really find it to be very difficult lately because you're right. I mean, I work full time, and when I go into work, I mean, it's structured meeting after meeting after meeting, so I don't control that time, and then, of course, like you said, I mean, sometimes I do the business travel, with my kids, my grandkids, I'm in a relationship, and I feel sometimes that I am going at full speed ahead and nothing is getting done. And, I'm really feeling the pull too, because since I'm like caught on this like wheel where I can't pay attention on the things that I need to come out from my heart, you know what I mean? And my writing and the journaling and that kind of stuff. One of the things that I really, really noticed also too is that, it's almost, and I don't know if it's my perception, but it's almost worse when I travel, because if I'm overseas for a week, it's like I'm still working and doing these things every day, and that time passes. But it's almost like I'm stuck in the twilight zone, right? Because when I'm traveling overseas, I feel that even though I'm working and the days pass, that my time has somehow stopped. But then when I come back to the States and come home, I see that I've missed out on all that time or all that experience. And so that's kind of like a really internal struggle also. So I definitely need to, adopt a different outlook and to start giving myself, because it's so easy to say, I don't have any time. I need some time. My time's so short. And, so I need to stop messaging for that, giving myself those messages.
Those commands in the now.
Yeah, exactly. I do. It's just, you get caught up in that whirlwind and, I start becoming a surface thinker at work, even though I don't want to be, but, you're just trying to crank it out. Well, I mean, it's the same. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, and I know, Kat, you're very busy too. And Laurie and I are in a position where we're kind of relaxing a little bit right now. You've been really busy recently, but now you're, and you're putting stress on yourself to get things going. So that can be time challenging. We don't escape it. It's part of the human condition. I feel like when we get into the higher frequencies, though, like I was saying, higher dimensions, whatever you want to call it, time falls away. I don't think time really is a factor in the higher frequencies. It's not. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
So I remember was it Carl Sagan who said that, or somebody else who said, we should all be studying time. We should all be students of time right now, because that's the next monumental step in understanding that we as a people on Earth are moving toward. And I read something recently that said that animals and plants make that transition much more easily than people do, because they don't have limiting belief structures. They're always present to what's happening now. So it's very different, and I think there are some pages from their book that we can absolutely follow. So,
and I think too, I'm becoming more appreciative of this construct creation of linear time as a beautiful creation and fun to play with, as long as in the background I remember I have as much time as I need in the world, or as much time as I need. I think that's the important part. In the background, as a backdrop, we observe the playground in which we're playing that is controlled by time and money. If in the background we can be the observer and say, what a fantastic play we're playing in.
Yeah.
So Loretta, remember several episodes ago you talked about we talked about manifesting, and you said, sometimes I kind of play with that and have fun with it, because I'll go to pull into work, and you work in a big office building with lots of parking
spot,
and you said, I just before I pull in, said, okay, well, I'm going to find a really great spot right up front, and then 9 times out of 10 it happens.
I have it,
So what if you took that same sort of concept and said, you know what, I'm going to play with time on my next trip. And on my next trip, I'm going to have fun and get good sleep, and I'm going to get everything done that I want to get done.
Gosh,
What would that
look like?
And I'm going to come home and feel like I wasn't in a time warp.
I need to do that on a week-to-week basis, just being here. Just say, look, I'm going to get everything done and have set the intention of what I want to get done that week, and to say that I'm gonna have an abundance of time to do it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's really training us or inviting us to have a deeper relationship with time.
Mm-hmm.
And where I said that, Mark and I are noticing our patterns of stopping going. Well, when you're really consistent, and he used to travel abroad all the time and would have the same issue where he came back and his family had kind of gone on without him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, relationships break and so forth. But when we ping, right, with love back and forth, the whole time we're gone to family, hey, saw this picture, this reminded me of you. Your family is in your heart the whole time that you're gone, and you're pinging them. I think, and I don't know because we'd have to play with it, but I think time would expand. I think you would get further in your relationships if you pinged while you were gone in a higher frequency place.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because the higher we get, time continues to fall away more and more, which means it expands more and more to the point where it's completely gone. It's a total unlimited. There's no time if time is unlimited.
So it becomes a field of unlimited potential.
Yeah.
I built a bigger Facebook following in this 1 week while I was gone than I have in a year.
It's amazing.
And it was because I was pinging. I kept pinging my business from that higher frequency.
I used to always say to my kids, and I still do, I advised my daughter this the other day. I said, when you send the email to your client, the lawyer, take a deep, I invite you to take a deep breath and shift your energies into a higher frequency, because that, as we were saying in another, either the previous episode, you're transmitting that frequency through that email.
And the frequency creates the framework for the entire experience.
Yeah,
true.
For you and everyone else.
Right. Good point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, gosh, we are, speaking of time.
Yes. Yeah, we're about it.
It's time for lunch.
That's right. It is time for lunch.
I love this linear time, because otherwise I wouldn't have known it was time for lunch.
There you go. So we are your hosts. I'm Katrina.
I'm Lori.
Loretta.
And I'm Lisa, and please visit us on our YouTube channel, The Vision Within. And we have a Facebook page right now, Rising Tides Global, where you can find all of our episodes as well. And we'd love to hear from you. Please comment. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.